Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, my family and I are traveling out to Letworth State Park here in Western New York. We are, I don't know, I get various reports. Some reports say that we are in peak, and some reports say we are about midway. So we're heading out to Letchworth. Letchworth is known as the Grand Canyon of the East. And we're going to go out there and I'm going to try to capture some fall foliage. I've actually missed peak at Letchworth a couple of years in a row. One was due to illness and one was due to being in Florida visiting my parents. So this is actually the first year that I've done photography that I'm actually going to be out at Letchworth during fall foliage. We hopped in the car and 5 miles down the road, the sky opened up and buckets of rain fell out of the sky. We did entertain the thought of turning around and canceling the trip, but as we got closer to Letchworth, the skies did start clearing up a bit. The trip to Letchworth, at least coming from where we are located in Buffalo, is just a feast for the eyes, feeding you with grand vistas that are just a prelude to the sights that you'll find once you arrive at the park. So after a gorgeous drive down here, we finally made it and the weather cleared up, which is amazing. Doesn't look like we're quite in peak yet down here, so but we'll give it a shot, see what we can get. We're actually headed to a place where I've been quite a few times, not always as a photographer, but this time we'll get some shots. We got some interesting skies. The sun comes in and out, so maybe we'll, even though it's the middle of the day, hopefully we'll get some good photographs. I have a Freewell magnetic variable ND filter on here. The way it works is you actually have a VND, what they call a VND base. So that's what I put in right now. And then I've got this is actually the ND filter that goes on top of that. And then as I rotate it, this is my 2 to 5 stop. What that does is it allows the camera, it allows me to adjust. You can see it's adjusting the exposure, so now I can take a longer exposure even though we're in very bright sunlight. Here we are at what they call the Middle Falls at Letchworth. Actually I already took some photos. I took some exposure bracketed panels like I always like to take. And sun's a little bright, so I put on an ND filter, and lights in and out, so it's kind of hard to tell what your exposure is going to be from minute to minute. If the photo came out, here it is. All right, so next stop on the Letchworth tour is what they call Inspiration Point. And I actually ditched my backpack because the L bracket on my camera is loose. And I've got a Peak Design bracket on there so I can clip it on my backpack. And that's in the way of me being able to tighten the L bracket on my camera. And I don't have a way to move the Peak Design bracket out of the way. So I'm a victim of maybe too much equipment. And we're going to be here at Inspiration Point. And what's really cool about this spot is you can actually see the middle falls and the upper falls together. And you can get some really cool shots here. So I'm trying to get a composition of both the middle falls and the upper falls. And unfortunately here they have a lot of undergrowth, I don't know if that's what you want to call it, here in the foreground. And I find whenever I'm here, it seems like it's always getting in the way. Prime example of just kind of looking at your composition and making sure that you can get the stuff out, or try to get stuff out of your way. So what I'll do is I'll take a picture here with the foreground kind of in the way, and if I just move 2 more feet this way, or a few more feet, it's still not ideal. But what you'll see with this photo is that there's a lot less in the way, and I can get I can get both the falls and most of the river in the shot. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're doing compositions. Go ahead and move around and see if you can get better composition. It may just only take a couple of feet to find a better composition. And don't just move left and right, up and down as well. Nowadays with Photoshop and stuff, you can do a lot to take all that out, but it's better if it's not there in the first place. One of the things that if you come visit Letchworth, one of the things that you'll find is that they just have all these little stops off the side of the road that just have incredible views. One of them is like the view we have here. You can see in the background. And it's just incredible views. Yeah, and this is kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of why they call it the Grand Canyon of the East. Although I would say I don't think the Grand Canyon has colors quite like we get on the trees. And this isn't even peak. When we're in peak, it gets pretty insane. The vibrancy of the colors and stuff. I'd say I'd probably say we're just starting. So I may come back down here in a couple weeks and see what I can get in full peak with the foliage. If you're enjoying the video, please consider giving it a like. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell so that you'll be notified anytime I upload a new video. Unfortunately, after taking this series of images, one of the family members suffered a minor injury. They were okay, but we did have to cut our trip short, and we didn't get to visit many of the other locations that we had planned for this trip. I never did get back to the park like I had planned. Other commitments took up any spare time that I had in the next couple weeks, and by the time I got some free time to head back out there, the peak fall colors had already passed. If you find yourself in the Western New York region and you have the opportunity to visit Letchworth State Park, let me encourage you to do so and enjoy the many visual splendors that this park has to offer. As always, I'd like to thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Many of the images I took while on my Letchworth trip used a method called exposure bracketing. If you're interested in learning more about the exposure bracketing method, make sure to check out the link in the video I have here that explains what exposure bracketing is, when you might want to use exposure bracketing, and how to take an image using the exposure bracketing method.